Buying your own home in a city like Mumbai is definitely not an easy task. There are sky-high prices to take care of. You also have to watch out for delays in delivery and substandard construction. But now there's another extra trouble. We're getting reports of developers asking home buyers to shell out more than the agreed amount for their homes, all thanks to changes in the DCR rules that builders claim gives home buyers more space in their flats. Is this really right? Ashwini Priolker joins us with this story.
In 2012, when the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai made changes to the DCR rules, the fungible FSI component, which included open spaces like flower beds, balconies, were brought under regular FSI. Meaning, the builders who paid a premium for this now had to integrate this with the rest of the flat, leaving them with few options to recover their investments. One option was to levy additional charges onto home buyers to recover the amount, a move that has created distress and confusion among home buyers.
He said that you have to pay additional 20 lakhs because DCR rules have changed. We went and contested with him that if these DCR rules, if they came in January 2012, why are you telling this to us in July 2015?
They forced us to pay 6,82,000 towards additional amount and service tax for the balcony and flower bed.
Consumer activists claim that similar complaints are pouring in from across the city as home buyers of reputed firms such as HDIL, Rustomjee and Ranwal, among others, protest the builder's decision. These home buyers are angry, and why not? They are being asked to pay an amount over and above what they signed onto when they decided to purchase a flat. Experts say that levying this extra amount is not fair.
Now, because of the change in rules, if additional FSI is available, the builder benefits from the sale of that FSI. So that is why builders are unilaterally doing this and foisting these charges illegally on the consumer.
The move has led to the rise of several home buyer groups determined to not pay the additional amount. Developers counter this by saying that in most cases, home buyers have signed agreements where they have indicated they will be liable to pay any extra amounts that may come up. However, legal experts claim these agreements will not stand in court.
If a builder is insisting for payments of fungible FSI or is violating the laws of the land, then the flat purchasers, I would like to advise them, they should approach the criminal courts, metropolitan magistrates courts, they should approach the consumer courts and ensure that their rights are protected.
But court cases will take time and money, something that these home buyers have in short supply.
Cases like this illustrate the dangers of policy flip-flops in the real estate sector. While the builders still have the capacity to run their businesses, it is the average home buyer who suffers, which is why the government needs to bring in RERA to better safeguard their interests. From Mumbai, Ashwini Priolker, NDTV.
All right, legal or not legal, Gulam Zia, Executive Director, Infrastructure Advisory Services and Hospitality Knight Frank India joins us, and we are also joined by Uday Vavikar, property lawyer. So Gulam, I'm going to come to you first. Builders are saying, and I had a long conversation where a developer said, you cannot use my name, you can't say that this is my home buyer, this is a larger industry problem. Well, I bowed into him today because his claim was, I built my reputation over years and you cannot destroy it. My question to you is then, are they in the right saying that they can charge extra money for the FSI just because they've got more fungible FSI?
Well, I don't agree to it because it's pretty simple that these are business risks that they have gotten into. So in the event where an additional amount is levied on them because of some change of regulations or change of law of land, etc., it's not something which can be straight away passed on to a consumer. Even if there are some of those words which require a lot of reading between the lines to be gotten into, even then it's at least ethically not right to actually charge such kind of amounts, and especially at a time when you are about to give possession to this poor chap. And this is the time where it is as good as kind of exploitation, where the buyer also has no other option but to end up paying this on one pretext or the other, because he is looking forward to entering that house and start living in it. So it's kind of making use of the situation and extracting this kind of sum, which doesn't appear right to me at all.
Daylight extortion. It is daylight extortion. Uday Vavikar, you know, and they sound so convinced, and they're like, you media people are going to destroy our credibility that we built over the years. You can't take my name. This is absolutely wrong. What's going on? Why are they charging? And as Gulam just said, at the time of the possession, they refuse to give you the possession until unless you pay up. They decide that you have to pay 1,000 rupees per square foot extra for the FSI. I mean, they decide the money, they decide the terms, and they refuse to give you the OC. Why isn't anybody waking up to this big scam now which is unfolding in Mumbai?
I agree, Manisha, with you totally. It's an unscrupulous exploitation, in the words of Supreme Court in M.K. Gupta versus Lucknow development. And these are unfair terms of clauses, even if the agreement clauses are there, which are ab initio void and are not enforceable, like DLF. Even after DLF was fined so much and Supreme Court confirmed it, I am really surprised builder continue to this. It is, I would say, a totally unfair trade practice where you are charging for fungible FSI, which is already included in the FSI of property. Only thing is, because they are free of FSI places which builder is utilizing for his own benefit, because let's take an example. Your flat is 1,000 square feet. The MOFA here in Mumbai, Maharashtra Flat Ownership Act, Schedule 5 very clearly states that you have to give it in carpet area. Now carpet area is where the carpet can be laid down. You say 1,000 square feet carpet area agreement, and then you suddenly say no, on the 1,000 square feet carpet area I am adjusting to 800 square feet, 200 square feet more fungible, therefore pay more. You have already taken it into the account when you have quoted, you have entered into an agreement. Now at the last stage of possession, you are trying to, I would say, blackmail a buyer, saying that unless you pay me this money, I will not give you the possession. Not fair. Absolutely unfair trade practice.
And you know, actually taking shield behind that thing that I have built it in my buyer-seller agreement that I can actually charge you more at any point in time. First of all these buyer-seller agreements, Gulamzi, are extremely one-sided, right? Is there any legal validity to it? And there has to be a force majeure clause or some reasons under which, or some specific circumstances under which they probably have a little bit of a ground to charge more. This doesn't seem to me like one of those.
Well, it is a reality. Most of, in fact, every such buyer-seller agreement in real estate is pretty one-sided. A poor buyer who's normally buying, say, about 45-50 lakh of an average house kind of a size, can't really afford to go to a lawyer and actually tear that whole document apart and make his or her own document. So in such situations, the developers end up actually commanding whatever they write in that agreement. Most of us, even I have signed 2 such agreements without even reading a single clause therein, because you don't have the wherewithal to change it or ask for any revision or review of that document. So it's absolutely 100% one-sided agreement, and obviously it is bound to have such kind of situation arising out of it where somebody can take undue advantage of a few lines written here and there, and which is what happens.
Okay, Uday Vavikar, what are the legal remedies? We are actually now telling every buyer in Mumbai, do not bow down to a builder demanding extra FSI. Doesn't matter, HTIL, Ranwal, Lodha, we don't have, who's charging how much, but it doesn't matter whichever developer it is. Are you saying do not, in the name of DCR rules or norms changing, fungible FSI norms changing, a buyer should bend down to the developer? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the best remedy, Manisha, and I agree with your aggressive mood, because I think buyers must be really aware, and one buyer can make the change, and therefore we must start it. It's high time, because various consumer organizations should also take it up, and we can even file a class action petition before National Commission of Consumer Courts. Consumer courts are today the best remedy for such kind of cases, where you can even ask an interim relief that direct an builder to enter an agreement and register agreement with standard clauses of MOFA, because most of the builders agreement today, as you rightly put it and as Gulam has put it, are totally unilateral. They are absolutely one-sided, and not only one-sided, but they are unscrupulous. So therefore, when the Maharashtra Flat Ownership Act says that even violation of such contractual obligation can invite 3 years imprisonment, you can file a criminal suit, but criminal suit would take much longer and it will be long enduring for a consumer. Instead of that, consumer courts today are average 3 to 5 years judgment, and interim relief can be immediate within 6 to 8 months. So therefore, I would suggest consumer courts are best option for consumers to go and file a case for such a arbitrary behavior or unilateral behavior of the builders.
I get that. Now, I'm going to thank you, gentlemen, because we've run out of time. Thank you so much for coming and giving us clarity.